Welcome to Minute to Success. Today, we're diving into Ian Kerner's She Comes First, the thinking man's guide to pleasuring a woman. If you like what you hear, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. Now, let's dive in. Introduction. Welcome, gentlemen, to a conversation that many men shy away from, but one that is absolutely essential to a fulfilling and intimate relationship. In She Comes First, I'll be your guide, and together, we'll explore how understanding and focusing on her pleasure can lead to a deeper, more satisfying connection. Contrary to popular misconceptions, pleasing a woman doesn't have to be a mystery. It's all about understanding her body, her desires, and the way she experiences intimacy. This is not just a manual on technique. It's about shifting your mindset and embracing a different approach to intimacy. One where you understand that her pleasure is your pleasure. Chapter 1. The importance of foreplay. Let's start by addressing the number one thing that most men overlook: foreplay. Too often, men rush into the act of sex without considering the emotional and physical preparation that a woman needs. But here's the truth. Foreplay isn't just a prelude to the main event. For a woman, it is the event. It's where the foundation for pleasure is built. Why is foreplay so crucial? For women, physical arousal involves more than just stimulation of the genitals. It's about the entire experience, the anticipation, the touches, the words, the buildup of tension. For many women, the path to orgasm is long, winding, and requires time. The simple act of giving attention and not rushing lets her body and mind fully engage. Chapter 2. The power of oral pleasure. Let's be clear, oral sex is not just a bonus or something you do occasionally to mix things up. For many women, it's their primary source of pleasure. Understanding how to please a woman orally is fundamental to knowing her body, her pleasure points, and what she truly enjoys. The key here is patience and communication. Many men tend to focus too much on the mechanics and not enough on the connection. Focus on her responses, listen to her breathing, her moans, her body's cues. When you take the time to really pay attention, you'll discover what excites her the most. Remember, a woman's clitoris is the most sensitive part of her body. Its complexity means you need to approach it with care and precision. Focus on different patterns, pressures, and techniques. Variety is key. Switch things up, but always stay tuned in to her reactions. Chapter 3. The role of communication. There's one truth about sex that can never be overstated. Communication is everything. But communication isn't just about asking, "Do you like that?" It's about knowing how to read her body language and picking up on the subtle signs of pleasure or discomfort. It's also important to talk about what she wants. Every woman is different. Some enjoy a slower, more tender pace, while others might like a more intense approach. Ask questions, experiment, and be open to feedback. The more you communicate, the more connected you become in the bedroom. Chapter 4. Understanding her orgasm. For many men, understanding the complexities of a woman's orgasm is the final piece of the puzzle. But here's the thing. The idea that all women orgasm the same way is a myth. Some women experience clitoral orgasms, others vaginal, and some experience a mix. The key to unlocking this is exploration. It's not just about reaching orgasm, though. It's about the experience leading up to it. Women may take longer to reach climax, and they may have different sensations or requirements to get there. Your job is to be patient and responsive. A few tips to remember. Keep the pressure gentle but steady. Focus on building the moment rather than rushing toward the end goal. Pay attention to her cues and keep checking in. Chapter 5. The mindset of pleasuring a woman. Here's a final piece of wisdom. Pleasure is a mindset. You can't approach intimacy with the idea that it's just about you. It's about the mutual exchange of pleasure and satisfaction. When you view her pleasure as a priority, not an afterthought, everything shifts. What you'll find is That when you give her attention, when you focus on her, you'll find she reciprocates with equal enthusiasm. This mindset leads to better communication, better intimacy, and ultimately a deeper connection with your partner. Chapter 6: The importance of emotional connection. Physical pleasure is undeniably important, but emotional connection is what truly elevates the sexual experience. For many women, feeling emotionally safe and connected with their partner is essential to fully enjoying sex. When a woman feels heard, valued, and respected, her body is more likely to relax and open up to intimacy. Emotional intimacy creates a foundation that allows physical pleasure to flourish. What does this emotional connection look like? It's not just about love or affection, it's about trust. The ability to communicate openly about desires, fears, and fantasies without judgment. It's creating an environment where both partners feel safe to explore, experiment, and be vulnerable with one another. So men, if you're focusing only on physical pleasure, you're missing a critical piece of the puzzle. Emotional intimacy doesn't have to be complex or difficult. Small gestures of care and consideration, both inside and outside of the bedroom, can make a huge difference. Touch, eye contact, words of affirmation. These can all contribute to making her feel emotionally connected and engaged, which will translate into a much more fulfilling experience for both of you. Chapter 7: The Power of the Mind. Now, let's talk about the power of the mind in the process of pleasuring a woman. While physical techniques are important, a woman's mental and emotional state plays a massive role in her sexual satisfaction. Many women need to be mentally relaxed and focused on the moment in order to fully enjoy sex. This is where mental stimulation comes into play. A woman's imagination is a powerful tool. Engage her mind and you'll help unlock a whole new level of arousal. You can do this by complimenting her, sharing fantasies, or even indulging in some playful teasing. The mental connection creates anticipation, which builds excitement and increases pleasure. You may have heard the saying that the mind is the most important sex organ. This rings especially true for women. Her body can be stimulated, but without her mind being engaged, her experience will never be as intense or satisfying. Gentle words, erotic conversation, and mutual fantasies can amplify the experience, making it more powerful than anything physical alone. Chapter 8: Understanding the Clitoris. The clitoris is one of the most misunderstood and overlooked aspects of female pleasure, but it's actually the key to a woman's orgasm. Its sole function is pleasure, and when stimulated correctly, it can lead to intense orgasmic experiences. It's important to remember that every woman is different, and the sensitivity of the clitoris can vary. Some women might prefer light, gentle touch, while others may enjoy firmer pressure. The key to clitoral stimulation is to start slowly, experimenting with different techniques to discover what feels best. The clitoris is not just located at the tip, there are other areas around it that can be equally sensitive. In addition to understanding the mechanics of clitoral stimulation, it's essential to communicate with her. Pay attention to her body's responses and adjust your technique accordingly. The more you listen and respond to her needs, the better the experience will be for both of you. Chapter 9: The Role of Mutual Satisfaction. When it comes to intimacy, the goal should always be mutual satisfaction. The idea that men and women have entirely different sexual needs is outdated. True intimacy is about the shared experience, both partners working together to bring each other joy, pleasure, and fulfillment. For women, the path to satisfaction is often more complicated and multifaceted. It's not just about physical sensation, it's about emotional security, mental engagement, and physical pleasure all coming together. When a man is willing to invest in her satisfaction, it strengthens the relationship and creates a deeper bond. This doesn't mean the man's pleasure should be ignored, but rather that mutual pleasure should be the goal. When you focus on ensuring she feels pleasure and satisfaction, you'll likely find that her enjoyment will increase your own. Relationships are most successful when both partners feel valued, heard, and respected in their desires. Chapter 10: The Myth of Performance Anxiety. Finally, let's address performance anxiety. Many men feel pressure to perform in bed, and this often leads to stress, which can interfere with intimacy. The key to eliminating performance anxiety is simple. Focus on the experience, not the result. For men, performance anxiety often manifests as the fear of not meeting expectations or failing to please their partner. But the truth is, the more you focus on pleasing her and creating a pleasurable experience, the less you'll worry about performance. Sex isn't a contest or a checklist. It's a shared experience where both partners can enjoy exploring and experiencing pleasure together. Instead of focusing on finishing quickly or performing a particular set of techniques, let go of the pressure and simply focus on her pleasure and your connection. Remember, true intimacy isn't about performing well. It's about being present and connected. Chapter 11: The Importance of Patience. Patience is one of the most important qualities you can have when it comes to pleasuring a woman. In many cases, women need time to become fully aroused and to enjoy the experience. Unfortunately, society and the media often portray quick, intense sexual encounters as a norm, but real intimacy takes time and patience. One of the most common mistakes men make is rushing through the experience, thinking that quick physical satisfaction will lead to a successful encounter. The reality is that most women need more than just a fast-paced approach. They need time to feel safe, secure, and relaxed. Patience doesn't just apply to the act of sex itself, but also to the buildup. The longer you take to explore her body, the more likely you are to discover what she enjoys and the deeper connection you'll build. Give her the time she needs to fully enjoy herself, and don't be impatient about moving on to the next phase. The more patient you are, the more intense the experience will be for both of you. Chapter 12: The Art of Touch. Touch is often underestimated as a tool for pleasure, but it is one of the most important elements of sexual connection. A woman's body responds to different types of touch in different ways. The sensation of a soft caress, a gentle squeeze, or a firm touch can create a range of feelings from arousal to deep relaxation. It's essential to vary your touch depending on her responses. Begin with light, teasing touches, gentle caresses, kisses, and soft strokes. As her body begins to respond, you can increase the intensity. This variety in pressure and rhythm is key to keeping her engaged and excited. Don't be afraid to explore different areas of her body. Pay attention to areas that might not be conventionally erotic, such as her inner thighs, back, or neck. These areas can provide immense pleasure when touched correctly and add a layer of sensuality to the experience. Chapter 13: The Power of Aftercare. Aftercare is often overlooked, but it is essential for a healthy and fulfilling sexual relationship. After sex, a woman may need reassurance, tenderness, and emotional connection just as much as she needed physical touch during the encounter. This phase is about showing her that you care for her not only in the heat of the moment, but also after the experience. Aftercare doesn't have to be complicated. It could simply involve holding her, cuddling, talking, or even providing a glass of water. It's about making sure she feels loved, cherished, and emotionally safe. This helps solidify the bond and ensures that she feels emotionally fulfilled by the experience, which can also increase the chances of intimacy in the future. The practice of aftercare goes beyond just the physical aspect of sex. It acknowledges that sex is an intimate experience for both partners, and the emotional impact of the encounter doesn't end when the physical act is over. Checking in with her, both verbally and physically, can make a huge difference in how she feels about the overall experience. Chapter 14: Why She Comes First. Throughout the book, we've talked about focusing on her pleasure, and now it's time to reinforce why she comes first. Many men mistakenly believe that their pleasure should be the center of attention in sex. They focus on their own desires and forget that true intimacy involves mutual satisfaction. By prioritizing her pleasure, not only do you give her what she needs, but you also strengthen the emotional and physical bond between you both. By focusing on her needs first, you ensure that she is fully engaged in the experience. This helps create a better overall encounter where both partners feel valued. And here's the kicker. When you take the time to focus on her, your own pleasure is often more intense as well. When a woman feels pleasure, it enhances the connection, and this leads to better overall sexual satisfaction for both of you. Chapter 15. Debunking common myths about female pleasure. It's time to tackle some of the myths that surround female pleasure. One common misconception is that all women experience pleasure in the same way. This couldn't be further from the truth. Every woman's body is different, and so are her preferences. What works for one woman may not work for another, and that's okay. Another myth is that women are naturally harder to please than men. This is not true. With the right attention, communication, and patience, most women can experience deep pleasure. The key is focusing on their needs and learning what works best for them. Don't get discouraged if your first attempts aren't perfect. Sexual satisfaction is a journey, not a destination. Additionally, there's the myth that oral sex or other forms of foreplay are optional or secondary. In fact, these are often the most important parts of sexual intimacy for women. They are the foundation upon which intimacy and orgasm are built. Chapter 16. Embracing her uniqueness. Each woman is unique, with her own desires, needs, and preferences. The key to truly satisfying her is accepting and embracing her uniqueness. Every woman deserves to be seen and heard. She deserves a partner who will take the time to understand what she likes and dislikes, and who will make the effort to create a truly satisfying experience for her. When you make her pleasure your priority, you're showing her that she is more than just a body or a means to an end. You are showing her that she is an equal partner in the experience and that her desires are just as important as your own. This shift in perspective is incredibly powerful and can lead to a deeper, more fulfilling relationship. Conclusion of She Comes First: The Thinking Man's Guide to Pleasuring a Woman by Ian Kerner. In She Comes First, Ian Kerner emphasizes that true sexual satisfaction for women is rooted in emotional connection, patience, communication, and understanding. The book breaks down the key elements of female pleasure, focusing on the importance of foreplay, emotional intimacy, and the central role of the clitoris in sexual pleasure. Kerner challenges traditional ideas of performance-based sex and highlights the power of the mind and emotional safety in creating a fulfilling sexual experience. At the heart of the book is the idea that men should prioritize their partner's pleasure, not just as a way to perform or impress, but as a means of deepening connection and ensuring mutual satisfaction. Kerner encourages men to embrace a thoughtful, patient, and emotionally aware approach to sex, where both partners' needs and desires are considered. The book ultimately challenges the myth that sexual satisfaction is one-sided and provides actionable insights into how men can become more attuned to their partner's pleasure. By focusing on her emotional and physical needs, a deeper, more meaningful sexual relationship can flourish. Kerner's guide is a call to men to become more mindful lovers, to listen, and to truly prioritize their partner's experience in order to build a lasting and fulfilling intimacy. Thank you for joining us on this journey. And remember, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. What other books or topics would you like to see covered here on Minute to Success? We'd love to hear from you.